Welcome to Ask a Lawyer with the attorneys at Hepworth Holzer, life-changing law in Boise, Idaho. Today, it's Kurt Holzer. Kurt is a past recipient of the Idaho Trial Lawyer of the Year and has a perfect 10 rating from AVO. Kurt answers your questions about the law and how it affects you.
Kurt, what can a lawyer do for me if I've been in a car wreck?
You know, people who've been in a car wreck are facing a different world. The rules that we operate within in the third-party liability context, somebody else hurts you, you have a right to recover the damages for what they've done, are not the same ones you live to day to day. And the number one thing a lawyer can do for you in the car wreck is provide you guidance through this different world. I mean, there's, all the substantive things, the negotiation things that help dealing with not just the auto insurance issues, but your health insurance issues, providing, obtaining and getting the health care that you need, dealing with issues of replacing your lost wages. All those things are part of the process that the lawyer can guide you through that you just won't know your way through on your own.
What if the insurance company is already offering me some money?
Well, it's interesting. There's been a tactic that the insurance companies, these liability insurance companies, have engaged in over the last, it's about a decade or so now. They've been pretty aggressive with it, where they come in and offer money very quickly. Just sign this, release away your rights. We'll move on and put it right to bed. And it's not that never is that the right thing to do, but most often it's not the right thing to do. And what you really want is somebody to be able to assess your situation, your injuries, the liability in your situation, to evaluate what is a fair and appropriate recovery. That the insurance company is not going to come and try to offer you a fair and appropriate recovery initially. For the most part, they're going to try to offer you the least amount of money they can get away with. And your attorney can walk in and say, hold on a second here. You really have a right to a certain other set of damages that aren't even being acknowledged in these initial offers.
Okay, so I've been in a car wreck. How much money can I get?
Well, it's the best car wreck to be in is the one in which you're hurt the least and you get the least amount of money. That's the reality. Your claim for damages is a direct function of how you have personally been impacted. The same injury can impact different people different ways. If somebody is, the most active they are is sitting on the couch changing the TV channel, and they have a little injury to their leg that doesn't let them run, well, it's not very significant to them. If they're an athlete who is out, wants to run 5 miles a day, that changes the dynamic and it changes the value of the damages claim. So every claim is driven by what are your actual injuries, what's the cost of the medical care that you've gotten, what's your lost wages, and how has it impacted your life. And it's this professional assessment that really is the number one thing that attorneys can provide in a car accident or a car collision type case.
So how long is it going to take me to get paid for my accident?
This is the classic lawyer answer is it depends, and it does depend. If you've been slightly injured and you recover quickly and your course of care is pretty quick, you'll recover pretty quickly. But if you have a substantial injury, or you need to have a surgery or multiple surgeries or extended follow-up care, or you're on medication for a while, these are things where you have to figure out what is the long-term impact. The claimant, the person represented by an injury attorney, has to prove their damages. And so we always want to, the term I use, we always want to let a claim season so we know what a person's actual injuries are and how they're going to be impacted in 5 years or 10 years or 20 years from this incident. And you have to understand that before you can actually settle your claim. So the more complex your case, usually the longer it takes to settle your case.
How much do I have to pay an injury lawyer up front?
Well, I can't afford a lawyer. Lawyers are too expensive. So the way we deal with that issue is we provide our services on a contingency fee basis. And a good personal injury lawyer, you won't have to pay them anything up front. It'll be $0 up front. And there'll be a percentage of the recovery that they work for, essentially making the lawyer and the injured person partners in the claim. They both have the same goal of maximizing the recovery because they both take a portion of the claim to recover their damages. And then usually a good lawyer will help the person with the costs, because there are costs that are incurred other than the lawyer's time in preparing a case, but they will address those issues for you, and you can pay them back out of that as well. And that's how we handle them in our firm, through the traditional contingent fee process that allows ordinary people real access to the courthouse, real access to justice.
Thanks for listening to Ask a Lawyer with the attorneys at Hepworth Holzer, life-changing law in Boise, Idaho. Join us next time as they answer your questions about the law and how it affects you. They can be reached at 208-343-7510 or hepworthholzer.com.